Hello guys, welcome to the channel. This is Cool Fred here. Today is January 29th, 2023. Um I'm just I want to say welcome to the channel first of all. Hope your new year's getting off to a good start and things like that. Basically, I'm just shooting this content right here basically because I've encountered a problem or ran into a problem. So we're going to get into that problem in a little bit and go from there. As you guys know, I'm just kicking off basically a how-to technical content channel for my BMW side of things. I'm also gonna have another channel, you know what I'm saying, with some old school projects that I'm gonna do. Some old school, you know, Chevys or just cars in general. So I'll be making some content that I think may be meaningful or value to, you know, someone out there and things like that. So I'm probably gonna have a couple different channels popping up soon. But this is another episode right here of Cool Fred's Beamer Tech. I did start off as having it. I was trying to just shorten it up a little bit because at first it was Cool Fred's Beamer Tech How To. So I think I'm just gonna, you know, leave it as Cool Fred Beamer Tech. You know what I'm saying? That's got a nice little ring to it, and it's a little shorter. All right. We got into all of that. So the other thing is, I'm on IG at ATL Beamer Tech 2006. And here we go. We're gonna get into it. All right, guys. In today's episode, today's segment, still got the X5 here, the E70. You know, everything was going smooth, and something very weird happened to me as I was going to the gas station. Well, not as I was going to the gas station, but I was actually test driving it, put some gas in it. And everything's going good. It's driving good and everything. Actually, it's driving great. But after I got gas, of course, and this happens to pretty much any technician on the planet, get gas, drive off from the gas station, it's running good. Of course, you know, we fixed all the oil leaks in here. We put new belts and tensions, everything. So, I mean, the engine's running, you know, running good, top tip condition, things like that. You know, I got a few errands to run. I go to the store and things like that. And I get to the red light and bing, the check engine light comes on. And, you know, I'm thinking, well, you know, maybe I just got a little gas. So check engine light maybe on, maybe I didn't tighten the gas cap tight enough or whatever like that. But basically I'm trying to figure out, you know, is it something that, because I was up under here, had a lot of sensors and things like that unplugged. So I'm thinking, you know, did I forget to plug something in or this, that, and the other? You know, I'm not getting any misfires or anything like that. But, you know, I scan it, and the code I get is basically this DMTL tank leakage module. So I got this car scanned. Now we just had another DMTL related code, which is pretty much the only code in the car. On this paper you see two codes because one of them I had the fan unplugged and out of it. This is the original code we had, which is the diagnostic tank leakage module system fault. Pump current reaches limit value during test. So we spoke about that in the previous episode. And pretty much, I mean, we see these faults all the time. This 3221. So that pretty much means anytime you have a DMTL system fault, that means that the computer has detected an internal fault in the leak diagnosis pump. So now I got this code right here, which is kind of weird. And this is all the freeze frame data for it. I got a little glare in my my garage because of all these lights and stuff. So basically, kind of just going down through it. Basically, this episode right here is pretty much what to do if you encounter another issue with a component that you just replaced and it's related to the same component. That's pretty much what I'm talking about today. And pretty much these are the preconditions for the fault. You know, it's got to be greater than 9 volts, this, that, and the other. In my experience, it's kind of like a 2-cycle drive cycle fault, basically. You know, when you test drive the car, you get in, let's say you get in it on that morning or whenever, you know, after you clear the faults, you go drive it 5-10 minutes of driving and you pretty much stop and you go like in the store, go somewhere, you let, you know, the car sit for about 5-10 minutes and you go back out and start it up on that second drive cycle. That's when it's throwing the code. So it pretty much enters in the car right away once it detects a problem. And for the actions and service, that means things to do to try to rectify the fault. It's saying check the wiring harness, the engine wiring harness between the DME and the DMTL, and then if everything checks out, to replace the DMTL pump. All right, and it also, let me see, it said the DMTL function check can only be performed when no fault code related to the DMTL system is in it. So that means that the engine computer, while you're driving the car or while the engine's running, whenever it tests for these parameters, it's not going to check that until, well, basically, this fault is kind of like a hard fault. It's not a fault that's occurring. It's basically the engine computer is trying to power that DMTL pump up, turn it on, so it can conduct the test. And it says, hey, well, this thing is shorted. It's a short circuit to B+. So it sees that off the rip and it doesn't even run the test. And then I'm looking down through my freeze frame data here. It tells you, you know, what the battery voltage was. So I'm assuming if the battery voltage was 12.3 volts, this battery's a little bit on the weak side in the car anyway. But if it's at that 12.34 volts, that means the vehicle was off. This is a different set of freeze frame data, but I did have one of my freeze frame datas. I can't find that one, but it basically said that it was a 5 volt. It recorded a 5 volt signal. So that's pretty much like what the engine computer supplies to, you know, the control. I mean, to that pump. So that means that, yeah, there is some type of open circuit or short circuit or something going on if it's at 5 volts. But this lets me know right here that it is trying to measure some type of voltage because it's somewhere in the middle at 3.64. All right, but without further ado, well, before we get into that, I'm just gonna talk about, we talked about the first initial fault that we had. We talk about the fault we got now. I'm a little optimistic about this fault because it's either a couple things that may have happened that I'm gonna talk to you guys about. Because this fault here, to be honest with you, I've never seen 32 in, you know, a lot of my BMW guys that work on these vehicles. 3225, diagnostic tank leakage, DMTL linkage pump, activation, short circuit to battery plus. I've never ever seen that code. Never ever seen it. All right, so this is basically just some of the information I've gathered, you know, going through, you know, I had the vehicle at the shop with me at one point in time, so I was able to go through and see what we have. Of course, I believe if the fuse was an issue, then we would be setting an open circuit fault and not a short to B+. So I automatically assume that the fuse is good. These are some of the abbreviations of the lines of the electrical system here. So power, ground, and signal. So I did get the wiring schematic out just in case I need to check out what's going on. So we got power and ground at pins 3 and 4 of the pump. And then we have 1 and 2. But I'm gonna share with you guys a couple things of what I think before I have to go do a whole bunch of deep diagnosis. I'm thinking either number 1, I got a defective pump, or 2, because while we were installing it that day, my daughter was out here helping me out, and I had the car apart, and we did drop the part on accident. The part did fall on the floor. So I'm not sure the process of it falling on the floor. Maybe, you know, something happened, or if I just got a defective one. Because to me, it wasn't really a hard fall. It didn't fall. Maybe it only fell from maybe no more than 2 feet off the ground. But, you know, it did fall and hit the ground. So I'm thinking about that's a possibility, or either I got a defective one, you know. And I know some people may be thinking, well, you know, it is kind of, they consider it maybe an aftermarket part. So it's like, why you didn't get one from the factory, you know, why you didn't get a BMW one or whatever. So I'm just going to try to rule these things out, and we're going to pick up in a little bit and show you what I'm going to do next. All right, so what's going on here is I got a replacement. When I got a replacement DMTL pump, I'm going to put this in. I'm going to go ahead and install this real quick, get the fault cleared and drive it. And hopefully this corrects my issue, because I still can warranty this out. I just have to open up a claim, send this one in, and then I'll get reimbursed. So, like I was speaking before, I'm thinking either I got a defective pump, or, you know, maybe that little course of dropping it may have caused an issue, or maybe it's something inside the pump that's sensitive, and versus one that you get from the factory, and the maybe the parameters for it are maybe different. Maybe it's different operational, because when I looked up the part number, this exact pump also works on BMW and Volkswagens, but it's the same supplier as, you know, the one that you would get from BMW. They're both made by Bosch. So let me dig in here and kind of see, you know. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this replaced and go ahead and clear the fault, and then I'll update you guys on what I found. Like, hey, did this fix it, or did we have to go in and you know, check some electrical stuff? So we'll go from there. All right, guys, I'm back. I'm to the charcoal canister. It took me maybe about less than 10 minutes to get the inner fender lining out and knock out all the plastic rivets and stuff like that, and get to this. I just wanted to kind of point out a few things. This right here is the connection. All the wire pans in there look good. A little hard to see, but they look good. One thing I wanted to point out is I noticed that this harness, it kind of goes up here, but it looks like this main harness actually goes back through the body of the car, because the main power comes from fuse 122, which is in the rear fuse box. The reason I'm just highlighting that is because around the trunk module, that HKL, there was water in this compartment right here. I thought that was causing an issue with the PDC system, but it actually wasn't. I'll probably talk about that in another video. But I did have to drill like a couple of small holes to let the water out of this, the lower trunk compartment. It's on the right lower side, on the fuse box side. But some of this wiring was underwater I'm just highlighting that. I don't think it really has anything to do with our issue, but you know, it could. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this out, get this swapped out, and go from there. All right, I'm inspecting this the DMTL pump that I just took out. I'm looking at it. I don't see any physical damage or anything. You know, don't have any cracks or anything like that. So, okay. I'm gonna go ahead and swap it on out. All right. So this right here is the replacement one. I'm gonna go ahead and get that installed. And get the charcoal canister and everything back in the car and clear the code and take it for a test drive to see what we got. All right, guys, I'm in this X5 2013 E70 going for a spin here. Got a few errands around. I got to put a little gas in it because the next thing we got to do, got to replace the PDC sensor in the front. That's causing the park distance control malfunction that we're getting. So far, knock on wood, I haven't seen the check engine light, but I still got to drive it a little bit. But I did drive it around a little bit and then let it run, turn it off. But so I'm gonna put some miles on it. I got a couple little errands to run, little stops to make. So hopefully we get that fault to go away, and we'll keep you updated. All right, guys, man, I'm rolling down the highway here in the X5. So far, I put I think I just reset it, but I probably put a good 10 miles on it so far after replacing that DMTL pump with the faults clear. And this is probably like the third drive cycle, maybe. I had to stop, get a little gas, and run a couple little errands. So I'm driving along. It's driving good. Rolling around about 70 miles an hour down the road. Everything's nice and smooth, no misfires. Everything running good. Transmission shifting good and everything. So I'm just gonna scan it again when I get to the house. And we got one more thing to do, which is to replace the PD sensor on the passenger front. So after I do that, it'll be wrapped up, buttoned up, and ready to get back to its rightful owner. All right, so what I'm most excited about is, you know, we put over 14 miles. I believe I put like somewhere around a little over 20, maybe 20 to 24 miles on this thing. Because I think when I got to the gas station, I actually reset it. I reset the mileage, well, the tripometer. So basically what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to look at the OBD readiness, just to kind of see you know, if this thing's ready to pass emissions or not. That's pretty much what I'm looking for. So I can actually go in here, go into the engine control unit, and right here where it says OBD readiness codes. So I want to read those out. And right here, it gives you all the status, because I believe for cars after 2001, it may be 2002 and up, like you gotta have no codes in the system, and you can have one of the emissions monitors that are not set yet. Like there's a misfire monitor, a fuel tank ventilation monitor, and things like that. So the monitor, it would be, I'm not sure if it would be on the fuel system or evaporative emissions, but let me see. The misfiring passed, fuel system passed, fuel tank ventilation, which is like the tank vent valve, that hasn't passed yet. Oxygen sensors, no. Oxygen sensor heater, not yet. And if it doesn't have that, it'll be X'd out. So I believe we're good because, like I said, within the first 10 miles, multiple drive cycles, the check engine light was popping on. But I'm not sure if this category is under, I don't know, I'm not sure if it's going to be under the fuel tank ventilation or if it's under the fuel system. But I do believe we are good. I'm going to drive it. I'm probably got to put like maybe tomorrow round trip, I'm going to put somewhere close to 50 miles on it, back and forth. So that's, right now we got 3 monitors that are not set. So actually that O2 sensor and the oxygen sensor, those should pass like first thing in the morning. Like if I start it up and let it run for a couple minutes, that should take care of that. And the last one is the fuel tank ventilation. But I'm pretty confident that our check engine light is off for good and things like that. Because I want to make sure, you know, if I'm recommending a part or recommend, you know, replacing certain parts, that they're actually gonna hold up and gonna work, you know. And you want to avoid multiple like repeat repairs, like if you're putting in an aftermarket part or something like that. Well, in this case, it's the manufacturer's part. So I believe either I got a defective part or that possibly, you know, when it slipped out, my daughter's hand onto the floor because she was handing it to me, that, you know, maybe something inside could have came apart or something. I don't know. So I'm just, you know, gonna roll with those 2 factors. And so far so good. So thank you guys for hanging out. This is another episode of Cool Fred's Bimmer Tech. And until next time.